morning to one and all. We, the pre-primary teachers, would like to give a very warm welcome to all the parents and our dear children who have joined us today on this virtual platform. We would also like to take this opportunity to welcome our dear principal, Mrs. Deeba Samal, our coordinators, staff, and our dear teachers. In the words of Benjamin Bloom, the home environment is the most powerful factor in determining the level of school achievement of students, student interest in school learning, and the number of years of schooling the child will receive. The home is the first school for the child. After that, the child steps into the formal institution of learning called a school. The child's development and milestones achieved during his time at home have a huge bearing on his school life. And this is where the school and all its facilitators step in and open a whole new chapter in his life. Today, we are all experiencing the innovation of online learning, and that again has opened a new world in the field of education. We teachers have undertaken this journey last year and were completely successful in taking the children forward. We are eagerly waiting to spend the year 2021-22 with our children and making this year even more exciting and fruitful for them. So let us begin this academic year with a prayer to Goddess Saraswati.
ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्कर प्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा शुक्लां ब्रह्मविचारसारपरमा आद्यां जगद्व्यापिनीं वीणापुस्तकधारिणीम् अभयदाम् जाड्यान्धकारापहाम् हस्ते स्फाटिकमालिकां विदधतीं पद्मासने संस्थितां वन्दे तां परमेश्वरीं भगवतीं बुद्धिप्रदां शारदाम्
Now, I would like to request our dear Principal Deeba Ma'am to take us through the orientation of pre-primary. Over to you, Deeba Ma'am.
Thank you so much, Sumitra, for such wonderful welcome address. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to all the parents, students, and my dear teachers, those who are attending this virtual orientation program. Wish you a very, very pleasant morning and a great day ahead. First of all, I would like to thank all the parents, those who have chosen GNS is one of the learning place for their little ones, and I'm sure the thought which would have encouraged you to take this decision, I feel we all will be reaching to that conclusion what as a young parent you would have thought for your little ones, and we as a school would already we have planned something. It's not related to only academics. Of course, academic is going to be the major area where the child will learn the lessons of his or her life. I'm really pleased to take you through these 4 visions, which is, we would have come across many a times. We talk about this, but today I'm really happy to share some of the best practices what GNS always believes and follows are that encouraging the students to learn by doing. And that is the reason we always say that the students learn better when they do by themselves, and that becomes a long time learning, or it leaves a deeper impact on the child's learning process, entire year, entire session, or I would say year after a year, when the student learns all the things by doing by themselves. And that's the reason we also uh, feel, believe, and we strongly recommend that students should be learning not only by uh, following certain instructions. It's let them learn, let them grow, let them enhance their various skills by doing themselves, even out of the school, even at home or in any field. And that's the reason we feel that child learns for the life and becomes more and more confident without losing the important essence of the life, or I would say the very important life skill, that is always being humble. So we also practice the similar kind of things, and we nurture our students in such a way the student feels confident without forgetting that he or she belongs to this society, and he or she has certain responsibility towards his society, his community. So this is something which we do it in a very, very humble manner, where the students also follow their teachers' practices, and they learn, they perceive, they adapt everything so beautifully, which many of you would have already witnessed. Many of you are going to experience it. Many of you are going to interact with the teachers for first time, and I'm sure with your cooperation and lot of hand holding by the teachers, the students are going to feel more confident. May I request Padmaja to move to the next slide? This is something which normally the regular school hours, which you would have seen that we start the day by 8 o'clock, and by 12:10 we wind up for the day with the two short breaks, one short break and one we call it as a the snacks break, but what they learn during that break also, it's amazing. I myself, I have witnessed that how students, how teachers, they interact with each other. So these break times are also a great learning time for them. Before we move to the virtual class hours, I just wanted to share a few things with you, that the students at this stage, uh, many parents are still in dilemma that what my child is going to learn during this virtual learning platform, or how my child is going to be benefited out of this online teaching learning classes. So as we always believe that we have to reach the students' need. And how do we reach the students' need? Because we know certain things theoretically, we learn every year many things from our experience, and we try to change our pedagogy, or we try to make it more suitable for the students' need for that particular year. And that is the reason many of the instruction sheets which you will be receiving this year, it will have a proper guideline that what is expected, and it may be different for different subjects, it may be different for different age group. And this is the planning we need to do, and we ensure that whatever school are the student, I mean the student attends virtually, is completely beneficial. Next slide please, Padmaja. So this is our pre-primary virtual school hours which we have planned. And as I already mentioned that every year, based on the students need, it changes. So as of now, the planning is the student will join virtual platform. Definitely few days parents have to help them. It will be the parents are also where we'll have one brief interaction with the class teacher and the assembly, and then we will start with the period 1. So that is, you can see the timing or the duration which we have kept it 40 minutes. Definitely the child will not be able to learn or listen constantly for the 40 minutes. So we will ensure that 30-minute teaching, and then after that 10 minutes parents or students interact with the teachers. Teachers ensures that the student come out, and then they speak or they start interacting with their classmates or with the teacher. And sometimes the students cannot complete the class follow up. I mean, I would not say assignment. It is certain things, certain work which the teacher must be doing with the students. If child is not able to do it in that 30 minutes or 40 minutes time, nothing to worry. As I mentioned that we will be reaching out to the students' need. So after this 3 to 4 hours of classes, which we will be gradually increasing. Initial days, it may be only 2 hours, and then we'll increase to 3 hours, and then finally 4 hours, so that the students also get used to of this kind of adjust, because after a long time those who were attending online classes also, they have a very big gap. I would say the 2 months gap. It is for them also to develop this habit will take some time. Teachers will patiently work on them. And the very interesting part is the play group students, because I know that they are too young to understand and sit independently in front of the screen and to follow up the teacher's instruction. So initially the parents also will be involved, and gradually we will ensure that the student attend the class independently, because the activities which we will be doing with them, that may not be that difficult, or to the student to follow up the teacher's instruction and do. That is what we will be trying, and it will we will ensure that the student learns during that class hour. Now coming back to how to reach out to the student's need, or how do we address each child's need, because it is going to be different. So after this 11 o'clock, we will be having one-on-one interaction with the students, and we will ensure that every student meets his or her class teacher at least once in a week for a good 20 to 25 minutes or 30 minutes interaction time, so that the child also feels more comfortable with the teacher, as well as teacher also understand the child's need, and accordingly the teacher handles. So this will be a one-on-one interaction for quite some time, until we feel that the child is comfortable and the teacher is also confident that she can manage, she can address all the needs at a time during her class. It will continue. Next slide, please, Padmija. Now coming to the skill development, because more than the cognitive learning which happens during this age group, we or any other preschool focuses more on the skill development. So what do we do, and how GNS follows it, and how it is different from other schools and all? Because we feel that being an ICSE school, we follow all the guidelines of the council, and council advocates more towards the early childhood education, which is designed in such a way where the students need to first learn the skills to learn the subject. And that's the reason we say our teaching is not topic based, it is theme based. And especially for this age group, it has to be theme based. The child will learn better when he or she understand certain things, or as per his or her knowledge or understanding standard. So we make it in such a way the child learns everything at his or her own pace, with something which he or she can correlate. So what is this early childhood education, where the child needs to be prepared for learning? We call till the age of 8. The student is still in that phase where he or she needs to prepare herself for better understanding of any subject or any theoretical concept. But we cannot wait till that age. So what learning goes till the child reaches to that level is because child goes through the most rapid phase of growth and development. Their brain develop faster than any other point of their life, what they undergo this particular age. And the foundation for their social skill, self-esteem, and a perception of the world or moral outlook, they establish during this age group to the maximum. And that is the time when we need to work with them to enhance their all the skills along with their cognitive skills, so that they learn entire the curriculum which is designed for their particular class, for that particular age group, in a better way. If a child is not comfortable in the class, if child doesn't understand or child is not able to converse better with the peer group or with the teacher, or the child until does it by himself or herself, it's really difficult for him to understand the theoretical concept, whether it is making one straight line, or what is the difference between a straight line and a curve or a curved line, or what is the difference between the bigger and smaller, or whatever things we until child experience those things in this age group. So that's the reason it has become, and this particular age group need to undergo lot of skill development. So again, as per the council guidelines, as you can also always visit the council website and see that for pre-primary classes they have actually designed certain the parameters where the whatever books we follow or whatever activities we plan for our students should be based on these skill development, the foundation, that we have to lay the foundation first. So we try our students to, as I was talking about, the conversation skill is something very important. A child needs to, this is the first time when the child comes to a play school or a preschool, the child first time he comes out of his the regular routine, or whatever language he uses at home, with whom he talks or converse or interact, it all of a sudden he sees a different world, and there first time he understands that when to listen, when to stop, talk, when to stop, and all such things are very important. Until these things are not developed in that particular age group, it's difficult for them to continue with the higher classes or the higher education, whether it is a the upper primary level or middle school level and all. So this is something which we ensure that the child is able to converse as per the requirement. We ensure that child starts the very first class. We, or in fact I would say the students, as a parent also, you would have seen the child loves to sort out the things and classify the things. When you start giving them any toy or any kind of thing, they start sorting out, or I mean they if little bit hint, they start telling you the difference between all such things. And that is the thing which is very much important for all kind of the cognitive skills to develop, whether it is numeracy, whether it is classification or identification, sorting out, and segregation, and all such things start from there. So our curriculum is also laid on these things, these parameters. Of course, other than all these basic skills of learning the subject in a better way, one thing which we all always insist on, that observation skill. Until a child sits for some time and observes any activity or anything which happens or which is present around him or her, it's very difficult to develop the thinking skill. Without observation, we cannot have the thinking ability also. I would say we will not be able to think anything. And until thinking skill is developed in a student or in a child and that age group, we can't even imagine the creativity. So everything is correlated and developed in such a way so that the student learns all these skills along with his regular teaching learning process, and reaches to a level where the child is very confident, or child performs anything. It's not only about the academic performance, any performance. When you talk to a child, you will be able to find the difference, and how deeply the child has undergone all these skill development, and then he or she is able to speak. His understanding or comprehending ability will be based on all these basic skills. And finally, one very important thing which we ensure that students learn in this age group, that is their vocabulary enhancement. Because being an ICSE school, we put a lot of time, and I mean we spend a lot of time and stress on our language classes, whether it is English or other languages, but English being the primary language for all the students, they need to develop those skills in the very early stage. Then only when they start their creative writing, or any kind of the comprehension or any kind of expression in the literature or learning language and all such things will become easier for them, and when they have a very strong vocabulary. So that is something which we work on our students at this age group. May I request Padmaja to move to the next slide? This is the curriculum. I have directly taken from the council. As I was mentioning about the website, you can always refer that, and you will understand what council or any national board, I would say in that matter, refers to. They insist on that whatever curriculum is being given to you, it is developed on certain things which all of us know. Even when we were also kids, I mean the students, we also have been told about that, how to learn this particular. Lot of the counseling used to happen by the subject teachers, that the maths you need to sit and practice, and the language you need to practice by telling, and you need to work on your accent, pronunciation, spelling, and all such things. So similar kind of thing only. It is nothing has been changed, but yes, of course, the methods have been changed. The approach has been changed because the generation has changed, and they need a better explanation than what we used to get it. So the curriculum, ICSE curriculum, which gives a outline, and every school works on that. What do we do? What GNS feels that how we need to develop our curriculum, following all the guidelines set by council. We ensure that our curriculum, whatever the books we have taken or whatever syllabus we plan it for the entire year. So what should be that? So what is how we decide that what should be the syllabus? Definitely we have to follow the outline of the council curriculum. But then we know that our students come from this kind of background, and our students need these kind of things. We have certain vision that our students should learn these basic things. So we decide what should be in their syllabus, that entire year plan. A maths teacher decides that what my child, if he or she is in this age group, so what it should be. So that kind of thing, the school takes the utmost care to decide and plan the entire year plan. So that is taken care. The what needs to be taught. Then comes to that how the teacher should teach. So before how, it's very easy for me as a teacher to decide my own rules in my classes. I can decide my teaching plan, I can decide my teaching rules, and I can go and teach. But until I am aware of how my children are learning, I don't think I will be able to do justice with my teaching. What will be that? It will be then only the one directional instruction. It will be only a passive learning. So to make it active learning, I need to understand what my student should, in fact, how my student learns better, and then I will design my lesson plan. So that is taken care, because in these age group, more than the content, what and how you are teaching, that plays a very important role, and we also take care of that to the core. Coming to the learning environment, because you would have seen there is a paradigm shift from the learning environment as from past 1 year, I mean more than a year, when we were we were thinking that how this on entire virtual teaching learning will happen. Still we are learning. Last year there were certain things which we felt that the students would have done or learn in a better way. So those things have been implemented, and we have play a I would say that stress more on that how the learning environment should be there, because children depend on the teacher for learning, but teachers can take the liberty to create that environment where that learning happens more effectively. Being a teacher, I'm confident about my teaching, but the learning is something which I have to encourage the student. So that is also taken care in our when we decide our curriculum, or when we decide our the syllabus for the entire year. And assessment. Now coming back to assessment, it is how do we assess? Do we have any examination system for these students, or do we conduct any test and all those things? I would say that it's the assessment starts from the observation. It's not like anything a child writes that is the only or the ultimate level of grading the student, or giving them that kind of feedback. I would say no. It's all I would say 25% observation, 25% how the child is whether the child is willing or not, and if it is not, again it's teacher's responsibility. So the assessment cannot happen on those 25% if the child is not showing interest. So this is I would say that the various factors which decides our assessment. So if a child was not interested in initial days, and after a week if shows the interest, I would grade that child A in my class because he has developed that interest. So these kind of various factors are there, and of course we after a term we grade them, we assess them and share the feedback with you. That is basically how do a child is grasping, perceiving, and then expressing. So based on that, so I don't think that we should be worried about the assessment pattern, parameters more than the pattern what we follow, because these patterns will help the student also to learn what is my teacher's expectation, and the student also will start responding in that way. That is what we try. So assessment is based on these kind of observation, and giving them those guidelines, or helping them by hand holding or various methods and techniques. And every child's assessment depends on how the child is progressing in his or her class. May I request to move to the next slide? And core subject, all of you must be aware of this. The play group will have a very basic, the subject knowledge on language, and then the basic numeracy, and little bit the social awareness. Whereas when it comes to prep 1, it becomes a little bit more specific. A child learns the social awareness under one subject called as environmental science. Numeracy skill develops as we introduce the subject maths to the class. Same way language again plays a very important role. The other than English, we ensure that child learns the basics of both the other language, Kannada and Hindi, and then we ensure the student also get familiar with the computer science. So it is again very basic things. Step by step, child learns all the core subjects what he or she is going to learn in his the upper primary or in the middle school level. We lay the foundation, and the student gets familiar and develops those skills for those particular subjects. Next slide, please. Co-curricular activities. So these co-curricular activities are more essential than the core subject what I just introduced. Co-curricular activities is I would say these are the hours where the student learn how to learn the core subject. If a child attends one art and craft class, lot of instruction he keeps hearing, or the teacher gives a lot of instruction, or teacher gives one model or one image to copy, or just so what happens, the child starts listening in those classes. Definitely his hand and eye coordination becomes better, and they start interpreting the things in a better way. If a teacher is telling that draw a circle, so they understand that, okay, my teacher is expecting this one, I need to draw a circle. So these co-curricular activities, be it music or dance or fitness program or any literary activity, what we do it, everything helps the students to prepare for better grasping or understanding of the core subject. So these activities are given equal, I would say little more importance than the cognitive skill enhancement due in the initial days of the classes. Next slide, please. Now coming back to assignment. So every parent must be having this thing in the mind. What is that homework my child will be getting, or how much I will be able to help the child, and what will be the whether my child will learn something, or he or she should not be stressed or underworked, anything. So these kind of to put a full stop to that, let me just make one point very clear. Assignment is not, I would not say it's one kind of the separate part of the learning, or it is not one the practice hour where the students need to just do or follow whatever the teacher has given. This particular practice, or this particular the part of our teaching learning or the pedagogy, I would say, is to ensure that child develops that confidence to work independently. So we give assignment keeping only one thing in the mind, that the student should be able to, initial days it might be only the practice, it might be a guided practice with the help of teachers and the parents, child starts doing and all. But eventually we want the student to develop that confidence to, address any kind of problems in the form of an academic or in the maths problem, or any worksheet, just to ensure that the child is capable of taking his or her own decision. Let it be 50% or 60% of his work is not as required. I would not even say that incorrect. It is as the child would not have either he would not he or she would not have understood, or the is still is yet learning how to interpret those things in correct way. Absolutely everything is fine, but the thing is that the child should develop that confidence. So assignment is mainly for this purpose. So I would expect that similar kind of cooperation from parents, and that you are also helping the child to just create that environment where the student is doing or solving his or her work independently. And of course, there will be one more skill which we keep it in the mind while designing an assignment, that child should be able to come to or draw a conclusion of everything. If a child develops that ability of decision making, even if I'm writing a wrong answer, it is his decision. So that is something very important. So my expectation from the parent is in this way, that you need to help your child to make him or her more and more independent. So these were certain points which I wanted to share with all of you. With this, I would like to invite the pre-primary coordinator, Mrs. Maninder Kaur, who will be introducing her team and giving you a brief information about normally what we do in our the day-to-day activities in the form of various events which we plan for our students. Most of you would have received the annual plan. You would have seen already that there are certain things already decided, and there will be some more events adding on to that, seeing the students' interest and all other the factors in mind. So she will be taking you through that the information. And with this, I would like to thank each and everyone for listening me patiently. And the journey starts very soon with our the first day of class, where a lot of instructions and the guidelines will be shared with you by the class teachers, and we will be connected through this MS Teams once again in coming days. Thank you so much. Over to Ms. Maninder.
Thank you, Diva ma'am. A pleasant morning to our Director ma'am, Mrs. Sunita Prabhakar, Principal ma'am, Mrs. Diva Samal, coordinators, grandparents, parents, and children, and my dear teachers. I would like to introduce myself. I'm Mrs. Maninder Kaur, the pre-primary coordinator. I have 11 years of experience in GNS and overall experience of 21 years. Now, I would like to introduce my most energetic and enthusiastic teachers of GNS. First of all, Mrs. Madhavi Gaur is our new teacher in GNS. She will be handling our dear little ones, playgroup Sparrow. She has 4 years of teaching experience, a very well organized person with proven teaching and guiding skills and a quick learner. All the best, Madhvi ma'am. Next, we have Mrs. Mary Priscilla. She has 3 years of experience in GNS and overall she has experience of 13 years. She will be handling Prep 1 Pearl. Very passionate about her teaching and has excellent skills in her presentations. All the best, Priscilla ma'am. Next, we have Mrs. Shiny Roshan. We have another teacher who is very passionate about teaching and her dear little ones adore her. She will be handling Prep 1 Jade. Her classes are driven by interactions and she makes her class very creative and fun-loving. She has 8 years of experience in GNS. Next on the line, we have Mrs. Harshita Srivastava. She's a new teacher in GNS. She is handling Prep 1 Crystal, a very passionate and energetic teacher. Every day is a new learning journey and experience and wishes to be a lifelong learner with the little ones and contribute in the growth journey. Now I can introduce the Prep 2 teachers. Mrs. Sumitra, a very passionate and has a very creative mind. She will be handling Prep 2 Daisy. She has around 13 years of experience and her children adore her and wait for her class the next day. Next, we have Mrs. Manju Thomas, who is very, very dedicated to her work. She will be handling Prep 2 Daffodil. She has 5 years of experience in GNS. She has a great sense of achievement and loves to see her students grow as individuals. Prepares her children for the future is her main goal. All the best, Manju ma'am. Next, we have Mrs. Bhavini Bhaskar. She's a great source of knowledge and inspiration for her children. She will be handling Prep 2 Lavender. She has around 9 years of experience in GNS. She loves to paint and does beautiful pencil sketching. All the best, Bhamini ma'am. Next, we have Mrs. Manvi Chitransh. She has 8 years of experience in GNS. She will be handling Hindi and art in Prep 1 and Prep 2. She has profound knowledge of Hindi language and successfully imparts education to her students. She has around 10.5 years of experience. All the best, Manvi ma'am. Next, we have Mrs. Gargi Malik. She's our very own dance teacher who will be handling playgroup, Prep 1 and Prep 2 students. She loves listening to music, which makes her feel fresh and energetic. Very, very patient with her children. You will definitely enjoy her class and I'm sure you will also learn her dancing. She has around 4 years of experience. Next, we have Mr. Mario Gerard. We have a wonderful music teacher. He has 5 years of experience, very patient with his students and has planned some wonderful music in the coming years. He is learning music by which our students will definitely be benefited. All the best, Mr. Mario. Lastly, we have a new teacher, Prep 2 Jasmine. She will be introduced shortly. Thank you. Next slide, Mrs. Padmaja. Now I would like to show you the activities we do in pre-primary department throughout the year. First of all is the special assembly. This is an important feature of the school routine. We reinforce theme-based learning. This is done section-wise, where each child is given a chance to talk or perform as the class teacher has planned. Next, we have the virtual trips. This is the most interesting part in GNS. We are doing this through simulation, but it makes the experience come alive for the children. Children are able to visualize themselves in a particular place, and it helps them to foster their imagination and creative thinking. Next, we have Talents Day. This is our grand finale for the academic year. Each and every child is encouraged to participate and is helped out to get over his stage fear. Important lessons are taught about discipline, consideration for others in an enjoyable manner. Next, we have Color Days. These days are celebrated with great joy and enthusiasm in GNS. The concept of the colors, identifying objects, art and craft activities related to that color are conducted in class. Competitions. A healthy competition motivates children to perform better. It helps them to become more focused, and it teaches children to learn new skills and perform better. It also teaches them to accept winning and losing and to be mentally strong. We also give certificates to the participants. Next, we have academic activities, which are very, very important for the holistic development of children. All learning is activity and theme-based, and there is no chalk and duster learning. We have taken you through our 2020-21 trip, and here is our successful team who has made it today. Thank you, teachers. All the best. Over to you, Sumitra ma'am, for the vote of thanks.
Staff and teachers at GNS, we would like to thank all our parents and children for taking the time to join us today and making this occasion so special for us. We look forward to spending the academic year with you and making it a smooth and resourceful journey. We assure you that every moment that you spend will be cherished. Thank you.